So, we are in the midst of it. I can remember when I was a teenager, the length between Thanksgiving and Christmas felt like a year. Is anybody else like, we were looking forward to it. It just seemed like forever. We were still in school. We were waiting to get out of school and so on and so forth. And now it's like, oh my God. I only have 18 days. So, yes, it is the holiday season. And I had an interesting experience which sort of started all this off. Instead of having my own Thanksgiving or being here in St. Louis, I went to the other child, I have 4 children, so one of my children lives in New York, went to her place for Thanksgiving, but instead of having Thanksgiving at her place, we were invited to somebody else's place. And so not only was I not here and not there, but now someplace completely different for a different Thanksgiving. This was a really unique Thanksgiving. There was no mad rush to make the gravy because this person had the entire dinner cooked that morning and we came in the afternoon. Everything was all done. It was the calmest Thanksgiving dinner I've ever seen in my life. But it was odd. It was different. It was different. And I think at holiday time, we are all very aware of traditions and rituals and the things that make us feel comfortable and the things that we wish were the same and so on and so forth. And so just to start out, it's my belief that every family has some special little ritual or thing that is special to their family, and if it's not there, you don't feel like it's Christmas. So is there anybody who would like to share 1 or 2 things of things that you do at the holidays that's special to your family? Yes.
We do Thanksmas. So
Thanksmas.
We have, my brother that's out of town comes in on Thanksgiving, and we do Christmas and Thanksgiving. So we have the melded holiday, and we call it Thanksmas. We usually exchange our Christmas presents at that point,
Oh, that's great.
That they won't be back and we won't be there.
Oh, that's great. So you celebrate when you can all be together.
Right.
So Thanksmas, that's one tradition. What's another tradition?
Well, I'm from a big family, so there were 6 kids. There's 5 of us, and husbands and wives and grandchildren and children. And so Christmas, we decided many years ago that we don't do the traditional thing anymore. There's no presents involved. We come in our Christmas pajamas. We make
So you come, everybody gets together in Christmas pajamas
at one house.
at one house.
We make pizzas.
You make pizza.
And we have pizza and salad and desserts that we all bring, and then we play games.
And you play games. So you have just simply a get-together instead of the usual, and the whole family with six kids and their families all involved. That's a lot of people.
Yeah,
that's a unique Christmas. Pizza.
Awesome. Yeah.
Okay, yes.
So this is something my dad's sister started, and we kind of don't do anymore. A cookie exchange. My dad's sister's family would make cookies, and then we would all get together and exchange them, and then decorate, make cookies.
So a cookie exchange. That's your family's tradition.
We started doing that again this year.
And you're starting to do it again this year.
Yes.
Oh, that's great. Any other? Yes.
For Thanksgiving and Christmas, Elijah and I make steaks and play Minecraft.
Oh. Minecraft.
Yeah, he's
There's
taught
a really
me.
bougie lady.
He taught me Minecraft, and I'm really pretty good, I can say. Except for the moms. But anyway, and then on New Year's, we actually order food, like from all kinds of different places. Our favorite thing from each place, go pick it all up, and then come home and have a feast.
Have a feast. So you have a feast by ordering different things from all different kinds of places, and that's your New Year's Day celebration. Okay, one more. Yes. Marvine?
Oh, we put out the china and then put paper plates over it.
I didn't quite hear.
She puts out the china and then puts paper plates on it. And
They put paper plates on the china. Bless the cook. And the cleanup squad. Yes. All right, one more. Jenny, you had something you wanted to add.
We're a blended family.
Yeah.
We've been together for 34 years. So when Bob's son was breaking down his bedroom to marry, he had all these ships in his bedroom. And when he went away to college, We left his room exactly the way it was, the same way it was with his daughter, until they finished college and moved on. So I asked Matthew for his Mayflower ship. So every Thanksgiving, the Mayflower ship comes out and it sits on our table, and I have a poem that I cut out of the newspaper 30 years ago about the 5 kernels of corn that the Pilgrims had.
Right.
And every Thanksgiving, no matter if it's just Bob and I, the kernels of corn come out and the Mayflower.
And the Mayflower comes out. Because the Mayflower and the kernels of corn, that's what really Thanksgiving was
It
about.
has a special box, and I write on the box who was there to pass the corn and where we were that we had the ship.
That's a great tradition. That's a great tradition. So, yes, especially at holiday times, we all have traditions, and there's good things and bad things. One thing is that the traditions are symbols. They're things we do to come together, to mark special, our special awareness about the importance of family or of the particular holiday, some aspect of the holiday. There's also another aspect of Christmas, especially for those of us who have the gift of being older. I'm 82 myself, and I am telling you, it is, I've caught myself doing this. And I don't think I'm the only one in this room. I found myself looking back and thinking, but it's just not the way, she cooked the turkey in the morning. She didn't make the gravy with Worcestershire sauce. There's a tendency to look back on rituals and holiday traditions, and we sort of forget that, and we sort of think, well, it's changed, it shouldn't change. And yet, actually, that's what life is, it's change. And a lot of those holiday rituals that we look back on and think, oh, it's nuts. A lot of those were inventions. They aren't holy cows. But we sort of look on them as holy cows. So, and I was thinking in particular about my own family's Christmas traditions. We had Christmases that were the Norman Rockwell, Saturday Evening Post magazine picture, the perfect tree, everything was, it was incredible. And then I realized, no wonder we had such perfect Christmases. My mother came from the Ukraine. She had no idea. They didn't celebrate Christmas, maybe a midnight service, but that would be it. My mother learned how to do Christmas from the Ladies' Home Journal and Good Housekeeping. And we had the most perfect American Christmases that you could possibly imagine, But it made me realize that, as much as we love traditions, and I was very interested to see how many people talked about new traditions that they had created. Because that's what life is. As much as we revere the ones of the past, we don't want to make them into holy cows. Because when they're holy cows, they become a ritualized in a negative sense thing that we do thinking it'll do the work for us. Like saying so many Hail Marys and you're going to, become that much more enlightened. Or in Buddhist tradition, prayer wheels. You just swing the prayer wheel around and you're going to start elevating and becoming more enlightened. But you're not putting real thought and real care into it. So there's a lot of different ways to look at traditions. And I think being aware of the gift of these rituals and making them really conscious is especially important in these particular times. A month ago, Lena stood here and she said something that to me, that's going to mark my whole coming year. We are part of a critical mass. And what we do and how we think and how we lead our lives has a much greater impact than we can possibly believe, because there are other sleeper cells around the world just like ours. And when Sundance talked about we might take, but slowly but surely we take We do take steps forward, even with some shenanigans. But that's such a great truth. So it is important for us, I think, at this particular time of year, this is a great time to really talk about amping up our game. And by amping up our game, I mean our spiritual practices, not just coming to church and sharing the wisdom and the humor and the love of this particular community, but what we do on the days in between. Having a daily sacred practice. And I think now is the time for us to really be thinking about adding another sacred practice to whatever it is that we already do on a daily basis. I think most of us do at least something. We either have an affirmation, or we read a prayer, or meditate, or journal, whatever it is that we do, add something new to it. So I want to just go back a little bit and just review, well, what is a sacred practice? There's many different kinds of sacred practices. You can have a sacred practice that simply connects you with self-awareness, with your inner self. After all, if we are expressions of the Creator, it's important for us to know how we're going about expressing that, or are we even expressing that? So, journaling, meditation, and that sort of thing. A spiritual practice could be something that connects us with the natural world. It could be something that connects us with the larger picture, whether it's gazing at the stars, taking a mindful meditative walk outdoors, or it could be something that we do just to serve the community. But it's something that we do regularly and above all with intention. It's not something that, oh, well, I guess I'm going to be spiritual today. Oh, I remember. Oh, I'm supposed to be. No, we're talking about doing something with intention that becomes a daily practice, more than what we just do coming here on Sundays. And what are the benefits of that? Well, the first benefit is that it is an opportunity for us to stop and to have reverence. And even as I saw today, to see the gifts that we have, and to be have gratitude, instead of feeling like victims of this or that in our lives. Another benefit is that we realize that we are indeed a part of something greater. It is so easy to get all caught up in our own little mind that churns out 90% of what we're doing is really like a bot, or as they call it in the digital world, a robot. In other words, the same patterns that and the older we are, the more dangerous this is. We're just doing the same patterns over and over and over again. 90% of our daily life is the same thing that we did the day before and the day before. And, even more dangerous, the thoughts. And it's when we really live only on that automatic pilot, that's what ages us, that's what distances us from others, that is what keeps us from living a full life. We're conscious beings. So our job is to find ways to be conscious and not just to go through doing things by rote, doing things by pattern, which this computer tells us to do. So I think the other thing about having a ritual, and especially creating a new ritual now, is empowerment. I think it's easy, as Sundance was saying, it's easy to feel like a victim, like things are happening to us and so on and so forth. When we take the time to do a ritual, a spiritual ritual, whether it's lighting a candle, whatever, we are marking that we are part of the critical mass. We are marking that we are getting conscious about our spirituality. We are marking that we're doing it with intention and not just drifting through life. And these times are now calling us to do just that. To wake up, to be empowered, and to stay steady, and to walk our talk. The most important thing other than that is that rituals are also a gateway to mindfulness. Mindfulness means living consciously, being awake, being aware, being ready to grow, and not be hanging on to the things of the past, but realizing that that's what life is. It is constant growth. But we are empowered, we are spiritual beings having this human experience. And when we take the time to mark that, I think we can lead our lives with more grace. And we can appreciate the gifts that we have. And we can provide more loving care, kindness, and compassion to the rest of the world. So today, of course, it's the discussion group. And I have a whole packet of all kinds of rituals that one can add to one's life. I'll get that later, don't worry about it. So that's what we're going to do at our discussion group today. You get a workshop sheet and you're going to make a commitment. This is my new ritual. Because it's important for us not to just stand up here, say the prayers, listen to the talk. What's really important is what we do and how we live our lives and how we take what we learn and hear from here out into the world. Namaste. Thank you.